Hello and welcome to Keep Hope Alive. We have another great show for you. We got Jenn Fredericks with us, and she is a certified life coach. And we're going to go into everything that she teaches. It's going to be a one-on-one interview. It's going to be fun. And it's a great time to hear what she has to say because she knows a lot, has been through a lot, kind of like everybody. But she's just amazing. I got to know her before this podcast a little bit, so I'm just giving you grief. Continue to watch, girl, guy.
Thank you.
Definitely. I wanted to start out with asking you a very, very important question. What's 2 plus 2? No, I'm kidding. No. How many
Four?
weddings have you been to? How many weddings have you been to in the
I
past
would
10, 15?
say, I would say probably four, actually. Isn't that kind of strange?
Um, was it during COVID time? Then I'll say that
No,
was kind of strange.
yeah, no. I would say, probably in the last 7 years or so, I've probably been to four weddings. I was just at a super fun wedding in September. That
Oh,
meant a lot. So that was super fun.
did they do a certain theme with that wedding or anything? Or
You know, it was just about it felt so authentic because it was very much, you could tell the couple was very involved in the planning, and it just was very authentic, very them. It was an outdoor ceremony with then a lovely reception and an outdoor in a tent. And I'm in Wisconsin. I hope that's okay. I say that. So the opening entertainment was a polka band, which was amazing.
oh, polka.
And so then, yeah, everyone was out on the floor dancing even before the full reception started.
That is so cool. I bet it was so pretty. And I
Mhm.
mean, you get all 4 seasons there.
All four. Yep.
I don't know how you do it. But I was telling you before, I'm a big soap opera fan. Imagine that. But Young and the Restless, they have a Genoa City. And they say they're based out of Wisconsin, I think.
Really?
So
See, I was a Days of Our Lives fan, so I didn't know about Genoa
see,
City.
I'm like, is there a Genoa City like out
I'm
there?
gonna write that down and I'll look for you and let you know.
But yeah, like when they show snowstorms on the soap opera, I'm just like so grateful I'm in Texas. But in Texas, like if we get an inch of snow, everybody's like, let's buy out the toilet paper, the paper towels, the
Oh my gosh,
bread.
yeah. I know. I used to live in Texas. I lived in Texas for 6 years when I was in middle
Oh,
school.
wow.
And so it was all about, rainstorms and hurricanes or ice
And
storms. And
tornadoes. Yeah, I haven't seen mine yet. I've been here for like over 30 years. So, what part of Texas? I know, right? What part of Texas were you in?
I lived in Houston,
Oh,
outside of
okay.
Houston. Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
and now my parents retired to West Texas. So
Oh,
um
okay.
yeah, so
I
they
couldn't
really
breathe
don't
in
get four seasons.
Houston. Houston's nice, don't get me wrong, and it's just very humid. Now,
Very.
I did a wedding. I did a wedding in Seabrook, and so kind of going through the Houston area, it's not fun. On that highway,
It
I'm
is.
sorry. It's
No,
pretty
it's
to see but if you're the car past, passenger, maybe. I always get lost on the highway. Like I get forced to exit and I'm like in downtown going, how did I get here? And I have to
great
turn around and
question.
get back on. So but yeah, Houston's fun. So, when we go to these weddings, it's like if it's a ceremony, it's so fun because I always ask, what do people sign? And they always tell me, well, marriage certificate. I go, yes, they sign that, but what else do they sign? Do you know what else they sign when you walk in?
Um, well, a guest book.
Yeah, okay. So life on record, this is a cool concept. Forget the guest book now, and they put a vintage phone out there, rotary phone. So your guests can pick it up and leave a message. It could be like for 1 minute, 5 minutes, 30 minutes. Do not take 30 minutes. There's a long line behind you, but there's an option. Now they put a QR code right next to the phone. So you can take your phone out, scan it, and you're able to call during, no, don't do it during, before and after. So, and then a couple days after. And then what they do with all these recordings is they'll burn it on a 12-inch vinyl record, or they have this cute little boom box that they put all of it on there. So when you're sitting back, let's say it's a 1 year anniversary, you can hear people's voices. Now, I love that concept, and I'm adding this to my little sponsor for this. Hearing people's voices has so much meaning because it's all about the energy and the tone. Like you can have that one guest that's like, wow, you finally did it. You tied the knot. Or you can have these, congratulations, you're a beautiful couple, you know? So you get to hear the people's voices. And it's just, to me, that's an amazing concept. Now they give this phone number for 1 year. So I always say, hey, right before that year mark, take advantage of that. Call and wish them a happy 1 year anniversary too. And then plans, they're so reasonable. I love it. They start at $99 for the year. I was like, hey, that is so worth it. But I love the phone concept part of
I
it.
do too. And I mean, to hear your loved ones and your family and friends' voices throughout the year,
Yep.
that's really connection building. And connection really is one of the
Yeah.
main things that it means to be human.
It is. It is. And, I mean, I tell people, hey, it doesn't just have to be a wedding. It could be a corporate event. It could be somebody's in the hospital. God forbid that doesn't happen. I know I used it for my son's football team. One of the players got the leg broken. So they were wishing him a speedy recovery. But there's so many different options to use this phone. So maybe it's a sweet 16. I never threw that out there. Or it's a baby shower too. I mean, those are great ideas. But you can visit their website at www.lifeonrecord.com. So I want to dive in with you because being a life coach, you have this different vision, which I want you to share us that backstory on that vision and kind of about yourself and how you got to where you are. So,
Sure. Well, speaking of events, I had a 16-year agency and corporate marketing event career, and it was super funny. I think things, I don't like to say happen for a reason. I like to say let's trust in the unfolding. But right about the time that I was going through a lot with my daughter, who was 7 at the time, she was diagnosed with a difficult illness. I also was getting the news that I was going to be laid off from this career that I had had basically for
yeah.
16 years. It was really difficult, but out of nowhere, I get this thought of like, well, okay, not out of nowhere. I had just been somewhere where they, align chakras, and I'm a bit of a hippie, and all of those
Oh,
kinds of
I
things.
love the chakras. I love
Yeah,
Reiki. Yeah. I,
and
and
it's so cool. And then the practitioner also was a coach.
yeah.
So out of nowhere, I kind of said, oh, maybe if I get laid off, I'll do this life coach thing.
That is so cool. I actually did a few courses in life coaching. So, but being certified wedding planner, and everybody comes to me with advice. I need advice, advance. Girl, I went on one date. I gotta laugh at this. I gotta stop saying I do a podcast because I have like dating 101 and what not to do. But I hear, it's so nice meeting you. How do I get back with my wife?
Uh,
I'm sorry. What did you say? Like, oh my goodness. I was like, we're not on a date here. We're on a session.
yeah. Oh my gosh, that is
I gave
hilarious looking back
advice.
at it.
I didn't walk away. I was open hearted, open minded, and just said, let's go with this. I'm here for a reason, and this person is wanting to reconnect. And that's a good
Right.
thing as a certified wedding planner. But,
Exactly. Well,
but
and I love that story because it also you were you were keeping hope alive
yes, I was, wasn't I?
for him, but then you also knew, okay, this is not for me. So I know that I can break ties and walk away and feel good
Yes,
about the how
yes.
I
And
showed
then
up.
yes, and like whenever if I do go on a date, I go, I don't believe in ghosting. If you have a connection or not. You can even tell me now if you want to call me again. I believe in honesty is the best practice, even in dating, also in business, being honest and being rewarding to employees is very important too. So, but it's just I have to look back, laugh, as you structure trying to date again is like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, it's challenging. I just kind of like the universe will tell me. I'm like, universe, when? But I'm
Well,
so welcome.
I'll invite you to remember trust in the perfection of the unfolding.
Yes, yes. So yes, and learn as you go too. So
Mhm.
self-love, patience. If you're meant to go on another spiritual journey, accept that too, because it is not going to be your time. The same when you least expect it, they will come. I've heard so many great stories. I think one of my favorites was, I think it was a guest on my show, and she was so funny. She's like, I couldn't reach the cookies at the grocery store. But now, because she said that, I'm like, am I going to be that person too? Like, I can't reach this.
And then the person will come over and help you, and then they'll hand it to you and your eyes will meet
Here's
and you'll
your
be like,
cookies. I
I
love
knew
it.
it.
Yes,
That's awesome.
finding love at the grocery store. That should be a whole podcast. I
It
love
could
it.
be. I bet you could have a subcategory of keep hope alive. Like you might find love in the grocery store. But I
It's
love that you say that about how important self-love is. And that's one of the things that was really missing
yeah.
in my life before I started the work of training to become a life coach. And, I thought I was doing this for my new career. I didn't know this was going to heal me. I didn't know this was going to give me a whole different perspective of who I am and how I show up in the world and make my life better and change the dynamic of my household and all of my relationships and the ease and flow that's come with my life since I've started practicing some of these perspective shifts and mindset gains and different frameworks and tools that just help being human be a little bit better.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So yeah, it is a mind shift. And
Mhm.
you know, I like what you said about learning and studying. It feels like it comes natural. Do you feel that? Like things are not a job when you're passionate about it. Like I remember when I started the company I'm working for right now, it's like, this is not a job to me. I just came home. And those were my words. Like it feels wonderful to go meet new people, but see people I haven't seen in like 20 years. And those things, like when I see everybody, I'm just like, wow, it's been a long time. And then it makes me think, what was I doing back then? I was still helping people. I ran a networking group to bring event planners together, and I did it for 8 years. So, I look back and I go, I was always trying to help other people. That is my calling. I'm moving forward with it. So,
Love that. Yeah,
yeah,
it when you can, and this is actually a resilience muscle, if you don't mind me throwing
yeah,
that
go
in
ahead.
there. But it's it's actually like that connection and being able to draw on others for resources and support. But then it's also, you just touched a little bit on the fourth building block of Prosilience, which is what I coach on, proactive resilience and building proactive resilience. But what you're touching on is managing energy, and most specifically, I heard spiritual energy. And what that means is being able to connect
Yep.
with higher meaning and purpose for your life. And those of us who have experienced that or identified that and tap into it are ones who can pretty much face any challenging time, because we know how to plug the energy leak before we burn out and fall down.
You are so right. Amazing. So, I mean, I just gotta say I'm at all with that. Yeah. So,
Okay. I'm glad that
and
resonates.
yeah, it definitely does. And learning that energy thing, you're right. Some people, for me, I'm sorry. Like, I'm just going to say it, world. This is me. I get so many challenges. I think, the people who know me best, they're like, gosh, she's been through this and this and this and this, and she still moves forward. And it was funny because I was thinking yesterday, like, why? Yeah, I want to do a podcast on this because it's a really funny because I'm seeing a lot of doctors and going through, why do companies give health insurance to their employees and go, why'd you have to go to the doctor? You're missing time. Why are you doing this? I was like, you're paying for this. We need to go sometimes. But,
Right.
there has to be that give or take. I think doctors are really good at saying, oh, well, come back in 6 weeks. Oh, no, we need to see you sooner. Or no, you need to go to A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then what are we supposed to do? We're, I mean, healthcare wants us, right? They want us to go everywhere because it's putting money into their pocket, but then it hurts people at jobs. And it's just something that I think, when it comes to work, that people really have to understand that could be happening, you know?
Yes, I resonate with that. So I am a two-time kidney transplant recipient. So I've been managing a life-threatening chronic illness for 3 decades. And the first transplant I had was when I was 15. And
Okay.
then I had another one when I was, oh my gosh, I should know my age when I had one. But anyway, it was in 2012.
Okay.
And so I was at a different point in my life. But in between my first transplant and my second transplant, I had several jobs that I applied for, like for college and all of those things. And
Yeah.
one of the first things that always came to my mind was like, okay, how can I hide this? Because I don't want them to not hire me thinking that they're going to have to pay more into insurance, or I might be losing too much time with them and all of that. And
Yeah.
thankfully, my employers were always very understanding, and I was able to always work it out. And even if I had to take leave, I made sure that there were plans
Yeah.
in place. But I hear what you're saying, and it's one of those things that I like to support the people that I work with on, because I do focus on helping chronic illness or difficult illness, people who have difficult illness or a chronic illness, and their caregivers look at like sort of the holistic view of
Yeah.
how they're living in their illness. And while I don't focus on insurance and all of those things, I do understand, and I like to help people through the frustration and help a perspective shift.
Go back to
Um
that frustration part because I
yeah,
don't think people relate like, oh, chronic illness. Frustration is a huge part and it gets overlooked by people.
right.
There's good
Yeah.
days, there's bad days. You don't know what's going to happen.
Mhm.
And then the person who has to go through this the rest are, they're always sick. You know, it's
Yes.
comments like that. It's like, even on a good day, I could be still hurting. Like,
Yeah,
they don't
definitely.
understand the challenges that we go through.
Mhm.
So,
And I actually, I this probably sounds weird, but I feel blessed that my treatment
yeah,
for end stage renal disease was a kidney transplant because it allows me to live a relatively normal life. I am not in a lot of pain all of the time. So it's different from others who have diagnoses of fibromyalgia or autoimmune diseases or those types of things. Yeah. And so what I like to say is that the frustration is real
yeah.
and it is not evident to others because let me ask you this. Why are you still trying to get healthy?
You know, that's a good question, but I'm learning from everybody on my podcast. So now my brain is going, oh my gosh. And that's the
So
truth. That's true. It,
why are we working so hard to heal ourselves if we aren't really living?
exactly. I mean,
So
yes, I hear
yeah,
you
but
on this.
what I hear in you and the what you've shared is that there is sort of that, you know, energy bubbling all of the time and you have a way to manage your physical, mental, emotional, spiritual energy that keeps you going. But that's my question to those who are suffering, who are managing a chronic illness. I'm helping my daughter also manage a low grade brain tumor that she was diagnosed with 8 years ago, and she does have more chronic pain day to day than I experience. But it is those that question of like, you can have bad days,
Yep.
you will. The question is on those other days, what do you want to experience? Like, why are you going through the hard days if you want to experience the good
The
days
good
in a hard
days.
way as well? So that's what I like to help people realize and put into practice
Yeah.
is that you don't have to wait for things to be better for you to live better.
Exactly. And I mean, sometimes, you know, I do believe it's mind over matter. And what I just learned, kudos to my podcasters, I need to do a little bit more work on myself to become healthy too, because I did not realize, you know, we go through the spiritual journey, right? We know who we are, we can understand self love, but really, what is it that we haven't focused on? And maybe we're bottling it up and keeping it over our shoulder. If we haven't worked on that, it can cause an illness also throughout your body. So if we focus on that too and develop a plan, that's, hey, these are my goals. I'm going to develop a plan of what has to hurt me, whether it's been relationships or, you know, something, family, who knows. I'm just like, I'm going to make this list. I love to journal. So
Mhm.
I want to see it and check it off as I go. Can I breathe through this? Can I forgive? That is one thing I want to like say. You know, somebody could hurt you really bad. Don't hold it as a grudge. It hurts. Give it to
It
God or
hurts
whoever you
you.
believe in. Yeah.
It hurts you. It doesn't hurt the other person anymore.
No, it doesn't. So being able to let go of that energy helps you become, you know, I picture the
Mhm.
heart and it has these scars, but each time you work on it, a scar will go away. And if you want to accomplish being that healthy person, you got to focus on you. I like that this is just a vessel. Our
Yeah.
soul is in here. We need to protect our soul. And, you know, for
I
me,
definitely believe that, you know, that we are spiritual beings having a human experience here on earth.
yeah,
And I also, you know, believe and science has proven that everything is energy.
yeah,
And so even when this physical vessel of ours is no longer here on earth, our energy is still in the
Yep.
universe and all around us.
Yep.
And so why not take care of it and experience some of that while we're here on earth? And
Yes.
so, yeah,
Yes.
like you said, loving yourself, finding your way to accept all parts of yourself. This isn't about toxic positivity. This
Yep.
isn't about spiritual bypass. This is about recognizing our humanness and holding the hard and the beautiful, or as Glennon Doyle Melton said, the beautiful and the brutal, holding them both in the palm of our hands. Life
Yeah.
is beautiful.
Beautiful. I like
So I love when she
that.
said that. Life is beautiful. And as a chronic illness patient,
Yep.
you hold good days and bad days in the
Yep.
palm of your hand all of the time. And so it's learning how to hold that and not let it weigh us down,
Yep.
but help us keep, moving forward.
Yes, very true, because we need that, and I say we, I mean, I've had
The
chronic,
general we, I get it.
yeah, I,
We humans.
we humans, we need it. Like for me, I was diagnosed back in 2002, and, I I know I didn't take steps because I didn't know I had to take steps, but you follow the advice of our, doctors and stuff. But then I learned not everything's solved by a pill. That is
It
something
is
you
very
have
true.
to learn. It's like you keep hearing here, here. It's like, why have I gained 20 pounds on this pill? And then you get to a point, it's like, I don't want to take this. And, I didn't know. I had one doctor who did not explain side effects if I just stopped. So I had to go through something horrible. I'm glad I got through it, but I was like, it made me more aware and focused. But now it's become, yeah, I was at the doctor's yesterday and I go, why do you have to solve it with a pill? I was honest. I was advocating for myself. And
Yes.
it's like, you know what he said? I loved it. And I hope he watches this one. Well, I guess you can get a vitamin. I was like, dude, there's the proof. It's a vitamin. you
Right.
know, I there's times, I'm friends with a happiness coach and they teach you could just pretend, you're pulling out these things to change your mindset.
Yeah.
There's different ways. Laughter is the biggest thing. So it has endorphins, so have fun with that. Don't bury yourself in any stress or anything like that. So
I have a story around that if you're
yes,
willing to
yes, we
hear.
got plenty of
Okay.
time.
Okay. So when my daughter was 7 and she was diagnosed with a low grade brain tumor, leading up to that, she had had months and months of these episodes of bad headaches and then getting sick to her stomach. And so we were going through what is normal protocol to diagnose something, around headaches and illness like nausea, which is okay. Let's check off. Let's do a headache diary. Let's. What are the triggers? Is there
Yeah.
something going on? Whatnot? Okay, so months and months of that, and I was just at my wit's end. And she was finally diagnosed, um, and she was coming out of her initial biopsy surgery. And sadly, my husband was out of town, but he was flying in during the time of her surgery, and it was one that we had to do right then.
Yeah.
That's how serious this was. But after all these months of being stressed and worrying and trying to figure things out, I turned to my really great family friend who was there with me
Yeah.
as she came out of surgery, and we had known then that it was a brain tumor. And in my best Arnold Schwarzenegger voice from the movie Twins, I turn to him and I say, "It's not a tumor." And then he looks at me, he's like bewildered. He's like, "But it is. It is a tumor." And I was
No,
like,
it's not.
it is,
Yeah.
but I needed that moment of laughter. I needed that moment of
You do.
small healing. and release because of the bigness of what was going on that day and what had led up to that day. So that's what I mean. I do. I use humor a lot. I try to be very compassionate with my use of humor, especially in my coaching. But those moments that allow people to kind of recognize their humanness and kind of look at
Right.
situations sometimes that are ridiculous that we're really like worrying about or like plotting or trying and like everything is wrapped up in it, being able to kind of say something like, wow, that is so frustrating. I don't even know how are we going to get through that? It makes, you take pause and then you're able to kind of laugh it off and like not take yourself so seriously.
Yeah, yeah. Don't don't overanalyze it is probably what I also would say about it, because
Yeah.
I mean, I've had several I don't know why I pray a lot. It's either in the shower or in the car.
Yeah.
Just like,
Yeah.
and it's like, God, let's have a talk. Why? Like, I will have to kind of break it down. But as I talk and say my prayer, it helps give me clarity too of, what I need to do. So I'm not gonna say, anything. I just lost my best friend. So I've been praying to her, and I just say, hey, Charity, you can't talk back, you got to hear me. So I just like, but it's taking those things and just kind of working on them and making the best out of them. But you've helped people. I mean, I was reading over your bio, you're helping them build skills, which is amazing. And I don't have my glasses on. People know I wear my glasses. I'm like,
I have mine next to me as well.
yes, I know. I was like, I feel like a mom. Like, I hate to
Yeah.
say that. I am a mom, but
We are,
still,
yeah.
and I'm too scared of laser surgery, or, I don't even let people put eyelashes on me. I'm like, I flinch too much. Nothing with the eyes. I've seen too many movies with the lasers, and
Oh my gosh. Yes.
it just
No.
freaks me out. But you need to find the inner calm and joy in them. So I was reading a list of different things that you help the people who feel broken. Can you kind of give examples for each one? I'm going to read like
Yes.
how you've been able to help them out when they feel this way. So let's use broken for the first one.
All right. So first, I'm going to caveat that. I
Okay.
use that language and when I share what I do because people resonate with that.
Yes.
Here's the
Mhm.
honest truth. I don't believe that anyone is broken.
I'm broken though. I say that on my dates. I
Okay.
hate to say it, but that's how I feel. I'm broken. I have a transmitter in my back. Some
Mhm.
guy said he couldn't date me because I was controlled by an app. He thought I was a freaking robot. So
Oh my
now
goodness.
I'm paranoid. Anybody I go on a date with, hey, I'm broken, but I'm a warrior and I get through it. And it's not for
So
you
that's
to
how
worry about.
you yeah, that's how you see yourself and I can honor that, but I'm the space holder for you and I see you as whole.
Gotcha.
Even with all of your challenges and the things that you have gone through, this is part of your life's journey. None of us were born into this world promised an easy go at it.
Yeah.
We just weren't.
Yeah.
I hold the space for people that I know that you are whole. You were created to be on this earth in this time and experience these moments for a reason.
Hmm.
When you're going through it, do the reasons suck and hurt? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And, if we're going into the religious aspect of it, Jesus was broken and hurt when he was on the cross, but it was to bring him to wholeness.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to hold the space for you for now that you are whole and you're just trying to figure it out in your human body.
I like that. I should say that for now on.
Okay, awesome.
I mean, you got to throw a positive twist, but those are one of those things. It's like where people start to say things and then you start to feel it and say, is this really true about me? For me to say that, it hurts me. Because
Yeah,
I'm not broken. I'm a strong warrior. I can fight through battles. But the one thing I don't want to hear, oh, you're young. You don't have any pain. You're too young for that. It's like, no, I'm living this 90-year-old body right now. Maybe I'll feel that way when I'm 90. Who knows?
right. So what I love is that you're choosing how you want to experience and how you're showing up with the
Yep.
challenges that are coming at you. And that's what building proactive resilience or prosilience is about. It's like we all were born with an innate sense of resilience. We all have what in prosilience we talk about the 7 resilience muscles, and we flex them at different times in our lives to help us. But we get to choose how we're coming up to a challenge. Are we
Yeah.
seeing it and accepting it and saying, okay, this is reality, this is what it is? And then now I'm going to choose my resilience muscle to help me move through the challenge? Or am I going to reframe the challenge so that it's a little bit closer to something that I'd like to experience? Or am I going to completely change it? Like a
Yeah.
lot of challenges we can't change. So I usually fall into the accept, this is what's happening. I'm going to reframe it
Yep.
so that I can use my resilience muscles to move through the challenge and learn and grow from it.
Yeah. And that's important, and as you're doing that, like, I wish there was times that I could go to a family member and just be open and honest with them. And I know I forgot what was our last occasion. I think the family thought I was mad at them for some reason. And I just needed to get blood through my leg.
Mhm.
And I went for a walk. And it was so funny because my dad and brother, they were going out to get the food, but they saw me walking. They're like, "Hey, stranger, you want to ride?" I was like, "Sure." Where are we going?
Yeah.
So, but they were like, "Are you okay?" I go, "I don't want anybody to think I was mad or anything. I didn't want to cry. It's hard to admit. I would have bawled and cried, and they would have been, "Oh, are you okay?" And I didn't want that.
Yeah.
So being stubborn headed, in a chronic illness, it's
You know how to take care of yourself, is what I'm hearing you say. And you were setting the boundary with like, I know me, I know what I need. I'm gonna set the boundary and I'm gonna go through what I need to go through right now. And then I can come back and I can engage with other people. And if
yes,
there was a misunderstanding, well, at least you've taken care of your physical needs. So, like, if we don't take care of our physical needs, we don't have energy to take care of our mental or our emotional or our spiritual needs. So,
exactly.
so you doing that, I'm like, kudos. Way
Oh,
to be
well,
your
thank you.
advocate there too. Yeah.
I just wish the family, like, I feel like they needed a better explaining. Like, I don't think even my own family knows what it's like to go through this, nor I don't want to say they don't care, but sometimes it's just like, oh, you can get over that, or that's not really happening. And, you know, it's one of those things. I don't wish harm on anybody, but I always have thought if they could just have one day in my shoes to see the good and then have the bad happen really quick, they would have a better understanding. So, but like I said, I don't wish out upon them. I just
No,
wish
no, no. But
their
you're just
ears they'll
yeah,
listen.
you are just like, I want genuine connection.
Yeah, yeah,
I want
definitely.
you to understand me and
Yeah,
what I'm going through, not for pity.
Yeah, yeah, it's not pity or anything. And it'd be nice to open up and talk to them about what goes through, and it's just sometimes it's the hardest thing. And I know there's others that will say this probably too, but
Oh yeah.
you even having a circle of friends, it doesn't always help to talk about health all the time. And that's what you learn. Now, I'm not going to tell people to go to a therapist. I have no time to do that right now,
Yeah.
with work and family life and running errands. But like, you have time to journal or, hey, you know what? I think TikTok is almost journaling too.
It can be. And what I like to share about one of the first building blocks of building prosilience or proactive resilience, or I would really say being able to show up how you want to in life at all, is being able to calm yourself.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not talking about self care and relaxing. I'm talking about genuinely calming your physical being. This
Mm.
is being able to regulate your central nervous system so that you are in a place that's a thinking, like your thinking space,
Yeah.
your thinking mind versus like your survival mind. And so when you are able to take that time and really learn to calm yourself, and whether that be through breathing and then journaling, or breathing and then capturing a video, for TikTok or whatnot, that's beautiful. It's just seriously, when I first started life coaching, I was in a very difficult place. I thought I was doing it for my career. It turns out it healed me. It changed the
Yep.
dynamic of my household. We were going through a very difficult time with my daughter's diagnosis, and I wouldn't be upright if I didn't learn how to calm myself and my central nervous system through breathing. And this would be in the moment type stuff that just would come out of nowhere. You wouldn't know when it was happening. And the one reprieve I had was, yes, love in my heart,
Yeah.
but also knowing to come back to myself,
Yep.
to breathe and to regulate and align myself with who I know myself to be and how I want to show up for myself and other people.
Exactly. I feel like I do that almost every day.
Good for you. Good for you.
But it's usually when I'm getting home, it's the routine, the dogs, if I have dinner with fam, it's like, okay, I got to do dishes. I know that is my laundry need to be done. But the one thing is paying attention to how I feel at the moment. Like there are
Love that.
times like I couldn't like feel anything and I felt dizzy and I hear, "Oh, your clothes are done." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll get them tomorrow." Like, and that's what I put in my head, but I forgot.
Right.
I was like, "Uh-oh, I'm gonna be in trouble probably."
Oh
So,
no.
but it's those things when you can pay attention and breathe, and I say, calm the bleep down. You need that time for yourself and walking away from situations, whatever, like
Mm.
will help you. That's important as well. So definitely. So I listen to meditation. Well, not you, it's Enigma or Enya. It's not
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah, they're my go-to, those
That's
three.
awesome.
And I even noticed that at work is so 180. Like I can work to the band Rave Till Dawn.
Uh-huh.
It gives me my creativity. Or then I'm like, okay, it's Enigma time. And then I'm like, do I want to annoy anybody? Yeah, let's put on Christmas music and start singing.
That's awesome. What I hear you saying is that those are the moments where you're able to bring yourself joy. And
Yeah.
it's those so Deb Dana is someone who's really big in the personal development and psychology world right now. She just amazing. Um, there's been a lot out there about her sharing about glimmers.
Okay.
So we've heard a lot about people and triggers. and
Yes.
how it's so easy to see things that trigger us and make us angry and make us anxious. She invites us to look for the little glimmers. So you playing Christmas music at
Yeah.
work is one of your glimmers. And what that actually does is collecting these micro glimmers through the day,
Yeah.
noticing these little things that we only notice as humans can help build up and build our resilience. And then joy is actually a form of resilience.
Yeah, I agreed. I had to wrap presents today and I don't mind doing it. I know how to do it. And I was just like, you know what? Every time I wrap a gift, I have Bing Crosby on. There's nothing, I don't care if it's work or home. Bing Crosby's coming on and I'm going to sing.
That's
So,
amazing.
but it brought joy. So
Yeah.
now when I look at those wrapped presents, I have joy. I feel love. I feel accomplishment. Okay. I did that. It's going to go to a party where people are going to look at a decorated tree tomorrow and see presents under the tree. Feel like I did everything except the bow. Somebody else
And
is doing the bow.
I just want to highlight for everyone and for you that you did that possibly even when you were feeling kind of crappy.
Thank you. How'd you
So
pick up on that?
so what I hear you saying is that you also don't wait until everything is all better to live.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we're here for who knows how long. And so in what way do you want to experience the time that you have here? And so
Exactly.
you may have been feeling like crap. You may have been at a pain level 12, but
Yeah.
you know what? You found enough energy to enjoy some of that. Because why else are you working so hard to heal?
Well, exactly. This is, it's not funny, but I'm so honest and truthful, and I don't care if the world knows because I learned I just freaking don't care anymore. So I had two podcasts I had to do the other day, and I was like in a rush. My son was sick. He's like, Mom, I want to watch you do the podcast. I won't say anything. I go, okay. So I had my laptop up, ready to go. And I knew I was getting a headache. And I was like, where's my medicine? And I was in my bedroom and I had my black laptop bag against the wall. So I like to change the words and I'll change the words. So I went for my medicine and the wall jumped out at me and hit me in the head.
Oh no, not the wall.
Yeah, the wall just took action here. And
Naughty wall.
yeah, unfortunately, I fell and I learned I did something to my freaking leg. I don't even care right now about that. Just trying to take care of it. But all I remember was holding it. And it was funny because I do live with my mom and the the loudness, like the bang, it was loud. And you know the movie Christmas Vacation?
Oh
What's
yeah.
the aunt, oh, what was her? Beth or great, wait, no,
Oh,
Bethany, Aunt
yeah,
Beth.
Aunt Bethany.
She goes at the dinner. What was that, Clark? It was so funny because that's all I heard when I went down was, what was that noise? But nobody came to check. My son is like, I love him. He's 11. Mom, your podcast. Not
Oh,
our,
don't worry that I'm on the
I,
ground.
I ice, and I could say ice and I had a ringing in my ear and burning and I'm like ice. So he ran and got that. And but he's like, are you okay? I was like, well, but I had trouble getting up. And he goes, okay, Mom, get up, do the podcast. And I go, I love people, but not today right now. It's my head. It was like six something when it happened. But I was able to get on the computer and say, I'm sorry, I had to reschedule, blah, blah, blah. And I went to bed around, I think 6:45, which that's never happened. And I was like such a trooper. I came to work and I'm working and I'm like, why is there double vision? Why is my ear
Oh
still
no.
ringing? Like,
Did you have a concussion?
yeah, but I'm so tired of going to the hospital. I was so stubborn, and I called my neurologist. Yeah, the wall hit me, and this and this is happening, and I'm sure it is a concussion, but there's no need to go. And it was so weird, but they're like, no, you have to go. And I'm like, yeah, 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 later. I got podcasts to do after work, in which I did and I knew I had to go to the hospital, and was talking to another friend who's a podcaster, and I'll give him kudos right now. And he goes, Nadine, why would you not go to the hospital? I go, because I'm tired. Why can't I just wake up in the morning and just go early before I go to work? And he goes, what if you didn't wake up? All right, I'm going to the hospital. But I'm
Right.
going to be honest with them. And I went in, I go, I really don't want to be here, but I need a CAT scan of my head. They're like, for what reason? I go, well, the wall hit me like really hard. And they got me in and out within like an hour and maybe 15 minutes. I was
That's
impressed.
amazing.
Yeah.
That
I was
for
like,
someone, I mean, for those who are listening who don't spend a lot of time at the doctors or in hospitals, like it's the hurry up and wait situation all of the time. And when you have a chronic illness,
it
it's
stinks.
you could have up to 3, 4, 5 days of that,
Yeah. Yeah.
especially
They,
during a flare up or something going not quite right.
thank
Um,
you.
so
Thank
what do
you.
you do? What do you do in those times when things are taking a little longer?
I can't, this is so cool that this is on a podcast. I love it because you're interviewing me, and I love it.
It's a coach. It's what I do. I ask powerful questions. That's
Yeah, and I don't mind sharing because it's just, let's talk about this. Flare ups, it depends because, back in 2002, there's a long story, got diagnosed with Crohn's and ulcerative colitis. So that word flare up was really like different. But I did go through gastric sleeve and bypass surgery too. But it has created a whole new world of different illnesses. So the flare up, so when they come, the first thing I do is pray. I go, God, you got the wheel. You got to help me with this. This is my prayer. Like, I can't get through this alone. And then worriment does set in. I worry how mood shifts might be. Like, and then I start to analyze, what can I do to take away less pain? And then I analyze, what are my side effects? And then it used to, even growing up with epilepsy, I get auroras and it lets me know before I have a seizure. But my biggest problem was, how can I hide? Now that's the wrong thing to do if you have
yeah.
epilepsy,
You
because
need someone with you. Yeah.
yeah, but it's embarrassing.
And
That
that too. Yeah, yeah. You don't want to I get that. And I just want to say, Nadine, that what I heard you say
I love how
is
you say that.
the steps of living in prosilience or proactive resilience. And I did that too growing up with needing like kidney failure and
Yeah.
dialysis and then transplant and then rejection episode where I lived in the hospital for a month and all of those things. Like, and then, further down the road when I was older and needed another transplant, is I think when I read this framework of prosilience by Linda Hoop, she's an organizational psychologist. I was like, she just gave language to what I've been doing as a chronic illness
Yeah.
survivor. And it was beautiful to have words to put through and like, oh my gosh, you're right. These are the steps each time something comes up that I can go through. It's calm yourself, which I
Yeah.
heard for you is prayer.
Yeah.
And then I heard you and worry, worry comes and that's natural and
It always
human.
does. Anxiety
But
and worry, they go together.
exactly. And
Yeah.
then you allowed yourself to choose your strategy.
Yeah.
Choose your strategy for facing that challenge, for facing that flare up. And
Hmm.
then you went right into the third building block of prosilience, which is flexing your resilience muscle.
Yep.
So we have 7 of those. And a lot of them are stronger than the others, but that doesn't mean we have, we don't have access to them. So it's positivity, confidence, priorities, creativity, connection, structure, and experimenting. And I think as chronic illness patients, a lot of times we will go into the structure piece because we know, okay, if I feel this way, this is the next step I need to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then once we do all of that, we need to take care of
You
our
see,
physical, our mental, our emotional, and our spiritual.
that is the next one I have. My last one is acceptance. Or,
Ooh.
who was it? You can't fix what's broke, or what was that saying? It was from a comedian. No, that was you can't fix stupid. But um it's you have to come to terms. This is it. It's gonna be there, whether you like it or not. Now, what I've learned on top of that, I just went to prom and not being able to feel my leg. I knew that I would pay a price, but I got to choose what I was going to do with that. But during prom, I had to make choices too. I had to let my prom date know, okay, I did like 3 dances. I got to sit and rest my leg just for a little bit. And does it make me feel old? Yeah, but I'm not old. But then it was so funny because I love karaoke. I love music. And my favorite song would come up, even though I was not ready. My body was ready. I wanted to dance. I wanted to use my leg. See, denial comes in it. If you have chronic illness, that is another one that people will go through. This can't be really happening to me. Like, and you
Right.
don't want it to. So nobody wants to be in the pain the rest of their life. Kidney disease, like I almost gave it, well, I probably did give it away. We're going through that right now with family member. And
Okay.
um, everybody has a choice. Let's just put it that way, what they want to do with their illness and how they
Yes.
want to handle it. So as warrior, you're a warrior. You're a strong warrior. You got to see a lot of this. And now you mentioned fibromyalgia. That was the first thing I ever got diagnosed with. And then, oh, well, it's not that, it's this, then it's this, then it's this. And it's just like, it's draining. It is. But having the acceptance when you're a question mark to the world. You've got to be strong and God's got your back. You got your back.
Yeah.
Do
I
something.
I love that, and I'm gonna share a story about one of my daughter's doctors. I mean, she has tons of specialists because there's the initial diagnosis, and then with that comes a lot of different comorbidities, like
Yeah.
you were talking about, all these different illnesses that come up or come because of medications, and then that causes
Yes.
side effects that you have to have managed by a different
Yes.
specialist. She has this one specialist who says, because she's always like, oh, I'm a mess, that kind of thing. Like, I can't, no one's gonna figure me out. And he just looked at her and he said, I am, and he's known her since she was 18 months old. Like, I feel honored to be on your care team
Aw.
because you are a big, beautiful puzzle. That I'm not talking about 1,000-piece puzzle. I'm talking about a 5,000-piece entire sky is blue puzzle that each of us get to come together and help you figure out how to do this the best for you. And
Yeah.
just the way that he put that, I was like, that is beautiful and amazing. And to have a practitioner who can see your child, who can see you like that, just meant the world. And it gives you some hope. And it, like, okay, they don't just see a number, they don't just see a
Thank
diagnosis,
you.
they
Thank you.
see the
Yeah.
whole of me. And even if they can't help each piece, that
Yeah.
they at least see that I'm a whole picture.
Yeah. And it's hard to find those doctors sometimes.
And that
So
drains your energy. That drains your physical, your mental, and your emotional energy. Because if you have to go from specialist to specialist, or let's even say you're trying to find a therapist, you need to really connect with the therapist that you're working with or the coach that you're working with. And it takes vulnerability
yeah,
and it takes energy to be able to put yourself out there time and time and again, looking for someone to help you. And so that's one reason I love doing what I do, because
yeah,
I want to hold the space for others
yeah,
to be able to help themselves and know that they have these support systems. And Western medicine is very important. But then, yeah, take a look at some of the other things that can support you. Are there some Eastern medicine? Are there other modalities?
yeah.
Is it spiritual work? Is it, making new connections in a different community that might be experiencing the same thing as you? But just
Exactly.
being in a space of support and hope for others is what gets me up every day and wanting to keep going and feeling well and taking my 8 medications I take in the morning and then my 8 medications I take at night,
Isn't that
going.
so fun? Like,
Yeah, like I have a pharmacy in my home, and but I feel grateful that I'm alive in this moment in time because I have received two life-saving gifts that,
Mhm.
you know, whatever, a couple hundred years ago, it
Yeah,
wouldn't have even been a possibility. So
you're
I
very
like to
right.
be able to, again, see the and hold them both. Yeah, it sucks that I have to go through this, but man, I wouldn't be experiencing all of these amazing things if I didn't have those things to help me.
Exactly. Exactly. And my goodness, and you get to share with the world exactly what you've been through and
Mhm.
how, look at you, you're full of energy, helping so many people too. So, everybody has a purpose in this life. And maybe you're somebody who has never been to the doctor and healthy. Um, I'm gonna pick on my ex really quick. He's a great guy. We're good friends. I just don't understand it. Like, he's a skinny guy, great guy, nice guy, but he could down a whole pack of donuts. And I go, don't you have any health issues? Not yet, I'm fine. I was just like, you ate 12 dozen donuts. Like,
Oh
that
man.
would have taken maybe 3 or 4 days,
Right.
one or two.
Well,
But,
and maybe it's I don't have any health issues. I'm fine now. But
yeah,
you know what? You also have to live your life.
you do. You
You have
do.
to live your life. And so if that's him living his life,
With donuts, yep.
so be it. Like I love how when we come to the realization we're allowed to choose how we experience life, even if we don't
Yep,
feel like we have a choice.
yep,
We actually do. Even when you think there are no choices lying in front of you,
there
there
is.
are.
Yep,
And it might not be choosing a different path, like I don't have an illness, but you get to choose how the illness lives with you, not how you live with the illness.
exactly, exactly. And saying that too, once you've learned that, like I always say, there could be a new ball thrown at you. Okay, well, you have this, but the universe is, or doctors are going to say, now you have this. And it's like you feel like you're starting over. But try, like for me, I'm trying to put it in the same category. How do I get through all this? Don't make it a new thing. Unless it's really like a cancerous thing and you have to go automatically. But if this is something like they just said, oh, you have chronic migraine. But to me, I had a couple headaches. I don't have chronic migraine. And that's where I have to be an advocate. It's like
Yes.
that's not what I was feeling. I'm sure you're doing your job, but I've learned with my doctors, and even if I do sound mean now, like I'll say no.
Yeah,
That's not what I'm
it's your
feeling.
right. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
your right. And
Yeah.
I also love to share how we can normalize versus catastrophize things,
Yeah, definitely.
and not to our detriment, and not to something that would build and build until there's something that's really going to take time away from us and time that we have on earth. But that's one thing, like when people look at me and are like, oh my gosh, you had 2 kidney transplants, I'm
Yeah.
like,
So
that's normal.
it's like, yeah,
It's
it's
not
normal.
That's normal for me. I don't feel like someone people should look up to. It's like it's normal, and I dealt with it as it came.
Yeah.
And through that, I learned amazing things that now I can share with others.
You
I
see,
don't
and
know.
that's perfect. And some people will be like, oh, that's the one source that defines you. That's like what I was telling you earlier. Like if I choose to open up and go on a date, if I like somebody, like I find humor. Like, hey, I'm a robot. I have
Right.
an app.
And then do you do the dance? And then like
Mr. Robot. So like,
So what I would think is that, and maybe this isn't for you, but maybe for other people as well, is the not letting others define our worth, or if
yes.
they can't see us for who we are, but it's us building
Yeah.
our belief in ourselves and our belief that we're enough exactly as we are in this moment and there's more available to us.
Hmm.
That's what builds worth.
Yeah.
And don't let external things take that from you.
Exactly right.
Right.
Yeah, some of the stuff that I've heard, like, they're like, wait, so you're a robot? How do you, they're like so confused. I go, I charge myself like a cell phone. Well, how? I was like, well, they don't have a dock yet for me.
Right.
But it's so funny because it is like a battery that I have to stick on my back. Takes about 2 hours at the most to get a full battery for the week. But you have to put that in the concept of like when doctors are saying, no, this can work, but you're going to have to do this. Those are choices that you make in life with whatever the illness is. Somebody said, you know, when I was diagnosed with epilepsy, they told me it could be passed to your kids, but it may not. It's most likely not gone to. Um, so those are different things to hear, but this medication is going to do this to you when you get older. And I was just like, what? And it actually did. And I was like,
Oh,
oh, heck, that doctor
oh
was
no.
right. But
Right.
told me at such a young age that when it happened, and I'm what, like, well, I think this happened in my 30s. I was able to deal with it and go through that process because he was honest. And that's what I loved about that doctor. So, but definitely, I mean, we haven't even got through this list. So we're starting with broken. I'm just
You might
gonna
have
read.
some editing to do with this episode. I don't know.
No, no, no. This is staying on. This is good stuff.
Okay.
So stuck and being out of control or disconnected, unable to deal with life are some of the other things that you have a laundry list of a
Yeah.
bio, which I love that about you. So, um, you know, yeah, we've talked about relationships and stuff. So a new life is born every 5 minutes, but they're not like you.
Like me. Yeah.
I
So
like that.
that's a line that I feel a little bad about sharing because I know that
Oh,
every life coach is here to help in their own
yes.
way.
Yes. I'm sorry I said that then. I
No,
love
no, I'm glad you said it. I always say trust in the unfolding. So this is meant to be shared. I
uh-huh.
wrote that line because of how much I can lean into helping you find your truth through
Yeah.
wisdom that I've experienced. And that's why I said they're not like me.
Yeah.
And the people who want what I have to offer are going to find me. And the people who want what another life coach has to offer are going to find them. And there's abundance for all of us. And so that's why I wrote that line.
Yep.
And it's true. Like, no one else has had my life experiences of a corporate career,
Yep.
2 kidney transplants, helping my daughter through brain
Yep.
tumor treatments, adopting my daughter,
Mm.
and the life that I'm living, and being able to go through all the training that I've received and really
Yeah.
embodied it and put it to use and practice in my work. And so, no, it's true. We are all completely unique, different human beings. And that's the reason I wrote that line.
You know what? That is a good line because in the event industry, I remember when I was first getting started out, I was doing a bridal trade show. And this is a pivotal point. I don't even remember who said it, but it was somebody I went to school with. And she goes, excuse me, oh, I can't talk to you because we do the same thing. And I go, that's not the right attitude, though. God gives us our clients. It's not up to, I can't be friends. I can't socialize. I can't do this. And I feel like, if you're going to maintain and harness an attitude and be like that, we all have different qualities that we can offer to somebody. So it's just, every life coach I've ever talked to on my show, they all have different qualities. And you
Completely.
know what? You connect with the people that you connect with. So I'm a photographer. What makes me different than another photographer? And I tell people, well, at age 14, I knew I wanted to be a certified wedding planner. And I worked my way up in the hospitality industry. I learned different aspects of, wedding rentals, bridal
Mm-hmm.
registry, catering, florals, baker stuff. And then I started opening my own company. Then I opened another company. And then I started to do photography. And I learned I had an knack for photography. So I'm still doing it. It's just you grow and you grow and you grow and you learn. But don't ever let somebody stop you and
Yeah.
say they can't do anything.
Yeah. I
So with
agree with
your
that.
coaching, like people will feel drawn to you and want to reach out to you. And talking about reaching out to you, how do they reach out to you?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, my email is prosiliencecoach@gmail.com. And prosilience, again, is short for proactive resilience. So it's PROSILIENCE. Or you can check me out on Instagram at JFredWI. So at JFred, Wisconsin. And there are ways to connect there.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I believe that being the invitation and showing up
Yes.
authentically, the right people
Yep.
will come my way, and I'll be able to help them. And I'm just super grateful that we connected, and I was able to
Yeah.
hear your story. And I think
I think the
that
world heard my story today, but they don't know everything.
no, they don't know what's in here.
What's in the heart, nothing is going to stop me. People have said with this podcast, but you're getting so booked, maybe you should slow down. I go, no, that's not what I want. I want people to be able to come to a show and go, you know what? I want to hear this one. I want to hear that one, because they're all different topics. And when you're keeping hope alive, it's for any topic. It could be
So true.
a small business, a large corporation. It could be health, fighting stuff, life coaches, authors. I get a lot of that.
Relationships.
Oh,
Yeah,
geez. Yeah. Let's
all
talk
of those things.
relationships all the day. You know,
Right.
it's
And the
always going to
fact
be.
that there are people in the world that are wanting to keep hope alive, I think is a real testament. And I'm
Yeah.
so grateful.
Yeah, definitely. So, there's many things that brought me here to where I am right now. And, I have been grateful to get to this journey. And it is a journey because, like 5 years ago, I would never have said I would be doing a podcast.
Right.
But I know I was running a support group for people who were getting abused and helping them. And somebody out of state goes, "Is this not online?" And I go, "No, this is in person in Texas." "Well, I wanted to hear you online." And I was like, I told my friend who was coming to my group, she goes, "Well, that's a great idea." I was like, "No, it's not." Like, I was so thrown off. I was like, but then I think about when I started doing interviews many years ago, I tried to start a company called Webcast, but it was commercials for corporations. And it's the same aspect. And then I went to point of view interviews. I knew I wanted to do this, but it was very like expensive to do it. And
Mm-hmm.
it was just the cost thing. But here's the world of podcast.
Opened up abundance, and your heart of service answered the call.
Yeah, right away.
Beautiful.
Right away. It's funny to hear, because I told you the story of bumping my head. I had to cancel, but I don't believe in the same because I canceled, I'm gonna push you way out here. I'm not like that. I'm gonna fit you in the next day. Yeah, let's do this. Let's get this done. And that's exactly what I did. So
Awesome. Well, and
yeah,
I'm gonna throw this out to the listeners. Like, listeners, I invite you to reach out to Nadine because you all have stories too that the world needs to hear. And I'm just so grateful that you hold the space
aw,
for all of us, all of your guests to come and share our
right.
stories, and and then also share with the listeners so that we can each help each other through
Yeah.
this human journey that we're on.
Yeah, yeah. And it's a thing. I love what I do, but I don't think, how do I put this? It's not like a negative or a bad. My son means the world to me. He plays football and everything, and I'm there, and he likes going to church. I'm there and I'm doing everything. But there's always that part like, okay, I'm going to do these hours, but it's so funny. Ever since I started, it's gone full blown. I go home. I miss dinner. I make oatmeal and I'm like, I'm good, or I'll eat raisin bran. I'll have breakfast for dinner. But you know what
Yeah.
it is? I feel like I've helped many people, and that is the initiative. Like,
That is you filling your spiritual energy,
yeah,
meaning that you're connected to your higher purpose and meaning
yeah,
when you're doing that.
yeah.
Yeah,
And that's,
beautiful.
yeah. So, and you know what? Wherever you find your podcast, you can find me. Now I'm gonna say Apple. I love you, but my gosh, it's taken a while. We're finally there. So, but everywhere. So, which is really cool. And you can find us at www.keephopealivepodcast.com. I do have a phone number from Life on Record that they gave me, 833-780-HOPE, which is 4673. So you can ask our lovely lady here for a guest speaker any questions you would want. I did add a fun little feature, but it's only like 30 seconds long. It's a voicemail, like on my website. So you can leave me a message and say, "Hey, can you cover this topic and this topic?" It's funny because I told my mom and dad, "Have you seen any of my shows?" "No." I go, "You're always watching the news and listening to interviews. You got to listen to your daughter." Like, I still don't think they have, but My mom was so funny yesterday. She goes, "Can you do a topic on this?" And I loved hearing that. Yes,
Yeah.
I can look into that. Somebody said, "Can you do fentanyl crisis?" Yeah, but then it was like, who are you going to bring on? I'm going to find somebody.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop me. You can say, this is what I'm aiming for. This is what I want. I'm going to go after it. And I didn't go to school for a news anchor or whatever special podcaster person. It
Right.
comes natural. It's the human self saying, I want to do this. So, which is
That's
awesome.
awesome.
But definitely. Really quick, I want to also not only thank you, of course, for being on the show. I want to thank our other sponsors as well. As I talked about with lifeonrecord.com. They are your interactive guest book. We have bridalshowsinc.com. If you are in the Dallas Fort Worth area in Texas, they host bridal shows like 4 times out of the year. I think the next one got Las Colinas and Dallas coming up. So check out their website for those dates. And I always know Dallas because it's by my birthday, January 27th, 28th area. So
Ooh.
yeah, I was like, "Ooh, bridal show on my birthday. It's meant to be." It used to be that I was growing up with Super Bowl on my birthday. No, we gotta watch the Super Bowl. Your birthday can come later. It's like, wow, football's more important. Then we have Party Time Texas, your one-stop shop for all your vendor needs, whether you need a DJ, a band, a caterer, a photographer, a videographer, whatever the need is, you can find them at partytimetexas.com. We also have Miles and Smiles Events.com, Miss Deborah Rose. Her background is so cool. I love it. But she has investigation background, but she does handwriting analysis and lipstick readings, and she's very accurate. So she's entered into the event industry world, and she has fun ways of doing it. You'll just have to check her out on her website. Then
Super cool.
I know our next one, he's all around the United States right now. Mr. Bryce Harney, who is a magician and mind mentalist reader. He's amazing. He's been on a few TV programs, probably one of the best magicians out there, but definitely check him out at brycemagic.com. And then our last one is richmondpunch.net. Graduated from the Juilliard, and he's a violinist. He's played in front of a million people. And I guess he's been on a couple Lifetime shows, I think, playing the violin. So, but he is amazing. He was in Dallas for the longest time. He moved out to Atlanta, Georgia, I think. But he travels all over the United States too. So check him out. Like, vendors are vendors. And we love you all. We have the greatest sponsors here, and I'm very happy and blessed for that. So other than that, we got your stuff. I'm going to put it on our social media so they can definitely find you.
Awesome. Thank
Oh
you.
my gosh, I'm just so happy to meet you. Like, I really am. And I think this is a rewarding, definitely rewarding show for a lot of our listeners. So thank you for taking the time.
Thank you
But
so much for inviting me on.
oh, thank you. Until next time, guys, love and light. And just remember, I didn't do a quote in the front of the show, but here's my quote. I'm just making this up. Believe in yourself and know who you are to move forward, and have faith and positivity. Don't let the negative come and aim at you. It's your choice and only your choice. Until next time, have a great night and day, or whatever it is, right?